I'm Daphna Horowitz, and welcome to Leadership Live podcast. The greatest skill of leadership is growing yourself and growing future leaders around you. You can do that by developing practical leadership habits that take you from top performer to extraordinary leader, a leader that inspires people and gets results. Whether you're a first-time manager, entrepreneur, or seasoned executive, this podcast is about having the conversations that cut through the noise and focus on what matters most in your business and leadership. So, are you ready to master your mindset, inspire your team, and elevate your business? Great to be back with you on Leadership Live podcast, and today we have another treat. I have a live coaching session lined up with Madlena, who's an amazing woman, very in touch with her intuition, her femininity, and really has a message about feminine leadership to bring into the world. And this is for all genders, actually, because my belief is that when it comes to leadership, we have to embrace both the feminine and masculine. And if we do this from a heart-centered approach, then knowing who we are and being genuine and authentic in our own space, then we know how to lead ourselves and lead others. So let's move into the session. Enjoy it. This one's a bit different because Madlena, quite honestly, I don't think she needed coaching. There was a lot of, you'll see in the style, and if you listen to some of my other coaching sessions, I tend to ask a lot of questions, challenge, push people forward, try to move them forward in some way. And in this session, Madlena did not need any of that. She really needed to have confirmation from herself and from her intuition and from her body and gut feel that she's on the right track and she's following her mission and purpose and her path. And that's really what came out. It's really owning her own feminine power in terms of what she wants to do in the world. And there were some beautiful gems. So look out for those quotes and some beautiful things that we came up with, a beautiful sense of connection through our conversation. And sometimes that is what coaching is about. It's about being able to speak out your message, have it almost played back to you so that you can hear it, hear what it sounds like, and then get the clarity and confirmation you need in order to move forward. And that's exactly what happened in this conversation. We spoke a lot about feminine power, and I feel quite strongly that the feminine power belongs to all genders. My business, I coach male and female CEOs, and to me it doesn't really matter, because I think when we talk about heart-centered leadership, authenticity, getting in touch with your emotions, hearing what your body is telling you, going with your gut instinct, that is in the domain of both the feminine and the masculine. And for me, it's about maybe breaking down some of those gender stereotypes and really embracing all of it, whether you're male, female, or anything else. And that's the important message that's coming out for me in this conversation. We'll put Madlena's details in the show notes. Have a listen. Enjoy. I am sure you will get something out of it, because if you can relate this conversation or this coaching to your own sense of what is your big mission, how do you follow your heart, how do you step up into leading yourself on the mission that you want to accomplish in this world, what is your message? Talk it through and walk the path. That's my message to you today. Enjoy. And one more thing before we dive in, just a reminder, as we get to end of the year, I am running a promotion on my new book, Weekly Habits for Extraordinary Leaders. Go check it out on Amazon. Place your order. Let me know you bought it and tell me what you think of it. And there is a promotion if you are buying it as a gift for friends, colleagues, or your managers in your business. Reach out to me because I've got a great promotion going on for bulk purchases. So With that, I will leave you to enjoy this coaching session. Have a beautiful day, and here it is. So welcome, Madlena, to our podcast today. I'm really excited to have you on the show, and I know you've got a juicy topic for us. So let's just begin. What would you like to talk about today? What's on your mind?
First of all, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. I'm very excited. And the topic I would love us to touch on is me daring to follow my heart. And what I mean by that is rebranding myself from working exclusively with dentists. Considering my background as a former dentist, I worked as a dentist in a foreign for me country, Germany. I moved to 1986. Had to go through all this recognition exams and everything what's required in this very organized and structured country called Germany. Mm-hmm. At the age of 30, was blessed. I felt like I'm on the top of the world. I opened my dental practice in a foreign country, worked at this practice for 20 years. And it was very natural to continue working with dentists because these were my fellow dentists, right? However, just a couple of weeks ago, I had this increased feeling that that's not who I am. There is something still missing. Somehow I'm restricting myself.
Wow.
And I jumped in this, let's try rebrand yourself.
Wow. So I love that question that you pose about that's not who I am. What gave you that realization? Was it a realization or was it something that happened over a long period of time? How did you come to this point?
What made me think a lot is I love writing, posts, blog posts, article, content of any kind. I love it. However, and I'm very active on LinkedIn on a side note. So I would love to sit down and write at least 3 times per week a piece of content, either a big article or a small blog post or whatever, a piece of content. And I catch myself, I'm hesitant. I cannot get inspired like I used to go out for a walk and something happens outside. And this brings me to a bridge to talk to the fellow dentists. And I sit down and talk to them. The last couple of weeks, 6 or 8 weeks, there was something which will always prevent me from sit down and write. And then I catch myself in procrastinating it. So I'm asking myself, what is really going on here? Something is underneath. What is it?
Yeah, what is going on? That's, again, just such a good distinction here in that something that used to come easily to you, that you felt flowed from inside, from your heart, writing to fellow dentists, all of a sudden became hard work. It was almost like forcing yourself to do it or procrastinating around it. And that's such an important thing because when we start to procrastinate or we start to force ourselves into something, there is a deeper question that needs to be asked. What is going on here? So do you have an answer?
Perfectly said. I couldn't have said it better.
What came up for you when you asked yourself what's going on?
I am connected with a lot of women, and I love working with women outside of the dentistry. So networking with women, I love networking with women. I'm still doing it once a week, twice a week. There was something magical in this interaction with women. There was something very meaningful in that.
Wow.
Because this network right now is exclusively for women, will not stay in this frame. However, right now it is for women, and there's a deep connection. And what I feel in my heart, observing my life and my way of achieving success, I thought for many years in my life that to succeed in a man world, I have to behave as a man. I have to do business with men in a man's manner. And that's not true. And more than ever, I'm even getting goosebumps talking about that. I feel in my heart that more than ever in the human history, we are invited to step up boldly for ourselves, first and foremost, and from there to be an inspiration and empowerment for other women to dare to step into the power of the feminine leader, and I call it from the heart. I'm not saying that men do not lead from the heart. This is not what I'm saying. However, we women, we are emotional beings. This is our nature. And when we lead with emotions. We lead with a feeling of, these are my spiritual children. Beside my two wonderful biological children, a whole generation after us, these are our spiritual children. And all women in our generation, and of course before us, these are our spiritual sisters. So from this place of knowing we are all one, we are really invited to connect with this new modern femininity from the heart. And that's something which for me personally, with no judgment, is much, much bigger than serving only dentists. Because in the community of dentistry, there are a lot of feminine leaders waiting for this invitation and inspiration to step into the power of leadership from the heart.
Yeah.
And that makes my heart sing.
So let's sit with that for a moment, because I'm hearing a lot about stepping into feminine leadership from the heart. That's something that is a theme that keeps repeating from what you're saying.
Yeah.
And together with that, you've used the word dare to do that quite a lot. I think you've used it twice. So there's something daring about stepping into feminine leadership from the heart. And for you, it's become much bigger than just dentists. It's become women in general. And I also get what it is to come from a man's world. So in my previous life, I was an actuary. So really in my class at university, there were very few women. I don't think maybe even 5. And then, you know, when I qualified as an actuary, I was one of 5 in South Africa at the time. So being in a man's world and having to fit ourselves as women into this masculine environment is something that a lot of us have kind of grown up with and just accepted as this is the way we have to be and show up in the world. And you saying there's a different way to be and show up as a female leader.
I do.
And I can feel it. So let me ask you this. What would be a great outcome for our conversation for you today?
A great outcome would be to get the confirmation for myself, from my heart, that I am on the right path.
Okay. Get the confirmation from yourself that you're on the right path. What does that look like for you? How will you know?
Excellent question. Thank you for asking me. I communicate with my body. I've learned that through the years. And when I think about something, when I talk about something, I check with my guts. When I feel this feeling of expansion, of warmth, of this inner knowing something is so right, then I know I'm on the right path.
Great.
When I'm thinking something and talking about something and I feel this constriction, you feel like your guts, your whole body is saying, no, don't go there. Then I just stay away from that, even out of self-protection and love. However, this feeling of expansion, this is where my soul communicates through my body and saying, yes, go.
I love it. I love it. The soul communicates through the body. Absolutely. Listen to the body signals. And I'm saying this for the listeners as well, because listen to your body. Your body knows and your body tells you. So I'm going to ask you, Madlena, you said you want confirmation to know from within yourself that you're on the right path. What is your body telling you?
About the conversation we are having right now?
Exactly.
My body is celebrating.
Exactly, I can see it. You've got that confirmation. You don't need any more confirmation.
No, there's this huge celebration. And even during this time where the whole world is so, let's say, not going in direction celebration, we celebrate.
Exactly, and we can actually celebrate, even when the world is in chaos and turmoil and turbulence.
In the middle of this turmoil, when we celebrate from our hearts, not just as actors to pretend that we're doing something, to take the attention of whoever is listening to us or watching us, when we celebrate from our hearts, we automatically invite others to do the same.
That is beautiful. Beautiful. Exactly. By showing up and being present in a way that is celebrating who we are, we're inviting others to do the same. And we need that right now. We need it. Right now, there is so much fear and anxiety and panic around us that the people who can celebrate from within and spread that energy just owe it to our environment right now. I think we need to be in that space. So beautiful. I'm just loving this conversation. I feel it's so kind of deep and soulful. So just want to acknowledge that at this moment. I also want to ask you, you know you're on the right path. You know your body is celebrating this mission that you have. So what's next?
You're asking me the very next question or long-term?
Where do you want to go with this? Because I asked you what outcome do you want for the session, and you said exactly the outcome that you're in right now. So what next? We've got a bit of time. We can talk some more. If you feel that you're complete and you're ready to go, you can also say that. So I'm checking, where are you at right now, and what more do you need at this moment?
Right now, I have this inner desire that as many women as possible hear this message.
Okay.
Let's just spread this message as an invitation to the women so that they hear and feel the energy of this message. There is something different out there. Not many people speak right now, but it is necessary that right now this message is brought out in the whole world.
What is your message,
Madlena? This beautiful technology at our disposal. And the message is, women, step up into the power of being the modern, feminine leader from the heart, starting with leading yourself. Because if you don't lead yourself from your heart with self-love and self-care, you're not going to be in the position to lead anyone else.
And Madlena, what is stepping up into this modern feminine leadership? What does that look like for you?
You're asking me, I'm going to give you an answer from my heart. Standing on the stage and talking to an audience of at least 1,000 women. Live.
Great. I can see you are seeing this picture right now. You're in it. How does it make you feel? How do you feel standing on that stage speaking to 1,000 women?
There is a beautiful song of Backstreet Boys, and they have these words in the song, that makes you larger than life.
Ah, larger than life.
If there is a way to bring heaven on earth, whatever heaven on earth means to every single one of us, well, this is what means for me, a moment of heaven of earth. And not only for me, I desire it for the community. Because when 1,000 women come together from all parts of the world, at least 1,000 women will get the message out of that. And we know that that's going to be much, much more than that.
Right. Okay. So you spoke about writing, and you're speaking about this goal of being on a live stage or on a stage with a live audience of 1,000 women.
At least.
What do you need to think through to get there? How can I help you at this moment?
In this moment, you're already helping me with the confirmation that I'm on the right path, and I thank you for that. And posting this nice podcast will attract the right women and men. And I'm a very intuitive person. So let's take it from there and see what is the very next step, and the next step, and the next step. I have learned in my life to have a long-term goal, but to focus on the very next step. What does divine want me to do after this beautiful conversation is over? And I get a message, I get a call or a book or whatever, and then I know, okay, that's what you want me to do.
That's beautiful. That's really being in the flow. It's saying, okay, I've got this goal. I trust that it will happen, and the right signals will come into my path to let me know what I'm going to do from one step to the next.
Can I tell you something? I was checking today with LinkedIn, and there was a beautiful message quoting Albert Einstein. He said, creativity is intelligence having fun. It couldn't be said better.
Absolutely.
What does it mean to be creative? And what I would add probably is not only the intelligence of a highly educated mind, but the intelligence of the heart. And as soon as the heart intelligence combined with the mind intelligence start having fun, well, what is the result out of that?
Exactly.
We are creative, and never only for ourselves. A huge part of my message and of what I'm doing is the power of community. I'm not happy to have it only for myself. That's not, it doesn't make any sense to me. The community is what inspires me.
So I'm hearing that you've got a big mission, way broader than you've had until now, that you are driven by consciousness and intuition and guidance from within and a very heart-centered approach. And it's really about trusting that to get to where your goal is and where you want to be in the future, and really being able to deliver this message to men and women. Because the truth is, when we talk about feminine leadership, I think men need to hear the message too. It's not just about women hearing their own message. So what's coming up for me, and tell me if this resonates, if it doesn't, then that's also fine. I'm wondering if you need to have an image in your head or something that will, or in your mind, or something that will strengthen you on this path. Because I know that when we started talking, you were a little bit unsure. You asked for confirmation, you got the confirmation, you spoke about procrastinating around the writing. So I'm wondering if, leaving this conversation, what do you carry with you that will strengthen you on this path and this big mission and message that you want to put out there?
If I'm getting your question right, is bringing this high vibrational spirit on the mission down to the reality.
Okay, what does that mean?
With a symbol, with a one sentence.
Cool. With
building a team where everyone is happy and honored to be a part of this mission. It could be women, it could be men. We are all together. You said it so beautifully. I feel in my heart that men are ready to hear this message, because there is a reason why we are men and women in this society. We're not meant to be all men to succeed, right? So let us invite men to step into their modern masculinity, which complements the modern femininity in a beautiful very conscious manner.
Yeah.
For the highest good of everyone. We're doing it for our men as well. We're not doing it for women to become, we're doing it for everyone.
And leading from the heart applies to men as well. I truly believe that. I work with a lot of men, so I must say my clients are more men than women, and this heart-centered approach is essential as well for them. Okay, so Madlena, what are you taking away from this conversation, and what do you need in order to be complete here?
I feel complete. And I thank you for this invitation and for creating this beautiful environment, because it's very important. In every conversation which I have with a person for the first time, we exchanged a couple of messages in a written form on LinkedIn, and that was it. And this is our first coming together in person. And for me, it's very important that environment is created where I feel safe and my soul feels at home to share.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thank you for that.
If I'm hearing you correctly or understanding you correctly, I hear, and I'm going to kind of, I'm taking a little bit of ownership here, but I'm going to do it. I'm hearing that this conversation has enabled you to find a home for your message that you're only now starting to articulate and verbalize and play with.
Yes. This
awesome.
Is true.
That feels very special to me. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
So what insight are you getting from today? What are you taking away?
Okay, thank you for giving me the outcome which I desired. I have this beautiful confirmation.
You gave it to yourself, just by the way.
Yes, thank you. Through your contribution, okay? So I feel complete energetically when it comes to this desired outcome.
Wonderful. And what is your message for the women? Let's hear it.
I want, with all my heart and soul, to invite every woman at any age, starting with 4 years and younger, and getting up to 120. It's time for every single one of us, individually and together, my tears gonna come out, to step up into our feminine power and to raise the consciousness of this world. Now, more than ever. Together.
Beautiful. You know, it's amazing how you can create energy between two people that are sitting on two almost opposite sides of the world, you know?
Yeah.
And you can feel it, and you can feel the connection and the bond that's been created. And we can all do that. We can all do that.
Yes.
And if I kind of interpret your message maybe in some of my language, it's about really being in service of your own highest potential. Because when you show up in that way, you're enabling other people to show up in the same way. And I think we can then dissolve a lot of the fear and anxiety that's holding the world back at the moment.
Amen to that.
So I'm thinking about a few of maybe the more practically minded people who might be listening to the podcast. And I'm wondering how we translate what we've just said into more practical terms. If someone is sitting there saying, that sounds really nice, but what do I do today? What do I do tomorrow? What is this invitation?
The very practical invitation is to join our networking events. I'm very, very comfortable with LinkedIn. This is my preference. So first of all, if someone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, very welcome. Every Tuesday, we have a networking event, which happens 6 p.m. German time. This is lunch New York time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. This event is absolutely free. We come together, women from all parts of the world, and create this beautiful networking connection. Cool. This is my invitation in a very practical manner. Come on LinkedIn and join. It's called $1 Million Rolodex. Has a very promising name. My background is medicine. And I see everything in life with the eyes and with the heart of a doctor from a holistic perspective. So when we start suppressing our femininity in us, we start feeling depleted.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I say now, forbid God, we feel burned out. We have a headache. We have difficulties to deal with our daily tasks in every area of our lives, and we don't get it as women. We betray ourselves, quotation mark, because we pretend to be someone who we are not. We are women. Connect with your women and part, with the feminine part in you. And this is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. However, everything starts with a decision. From now on, I make this conscious decision at least to give it a try. Because this conversation between Daphne and Madlena invited me to give this a try. Let me give it a try. There is nothing to lose.
Yep. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this great opportunity.
It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Thank you, Madlena.
Thank you.
This wraps up another episode of Leadership Live. Thank you for joining us today. And now let's continue the conversation. Connect with me on social media, LinkedIn, or head on to my website at daphnahorovitz.com, where you can download a free sample of my new book, Weekly Habits for Extraordinary Leaders. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And be sure to share it with a friend or on social so that I can continue to reach and support leaders just like you. Tune in next week to Leadership Live, where talented people become extraordinary leaders.